We've spent a good amount of time talking about the $600 Pixel 5. If $600 is the price point that it's going to be coming in, I'll be very happy. For people that don't want to spend $600, you have the option of getting the 4A 5G, which is basically a very similar version of the Pixel 5 for $500. So you get to save money that way. With that being said, we've been talking about the potential for a $600 Pixel 5, but how would you feel when you can spend $600 and instead get a Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition? I bring this up because this is a hell of a deal. This is definitely a hell of a deal. One of the big differences here is over the Pixel 5 is you get a Snapdragon 865 instead of a Snapdragon 765G. So you will get a much, much better chipset processor. You'll get a 4,500 milliamp hour battery and you'll get a much bigger display. So for people who want a bigger display, for people who want, I believe this has an in-display fingerprint reader, you can get that as well. Same price point. Get also a little more versatility when it comes to the camera because I believe it has an ultra wide, but it also has a telephoto lens. Does it mean that this S20 Fan Edition is going to have a better camera than the Pixel 5? Probably not, but I think the cameras will be at least doable on there. A micro SD slot for external storage or expandable storage. But you have to order this before the pre-orders are done. So it says here the item's going to be released on October 2nd. So you'd have to order it before October 2nd. Oh, and the fact that it has a 120 hertz refresh rate. So those are some things to consider. I was talking to Will yesterday, but Will and I were talking about this S20 Fan Edition and we were talking about the Pixel 5. We were talking about both of those phones. And Will is like me. He's very stock Android guy. And we were talking about how great the specs on the Samsung were. But there's just something, at least for me, for other people, for Pixel fans, there's just something about stock Android that can't be beat. I think about this Samsung Galaxy S20 and I'm like, man, these hardware specs are so good on it, but I want none of its UI. I want nothing to do with it. Not only the UI, I want nothing to do with their emoji. I hate the emoji on Samsung phones. I don't know why. I want what Google has in terms of stock Android. I don't want to use whatever Samsung's making for their emoji. I know that sounds like such a very small thing to nitpick about, but every time when I had the A71 and I started using it and I pulled up the emoji, I'm like, God damn it. Like I don't know. It like rubbed me the wrong way. It's weird because it just goes to show that even though both of these phones are both $600, and in fact, this Galaxy S20 Fan Edition, I think there are discounts on top of that can bring it down to like around 550, 530 or whatever. The experience, the UI experience, the software support, the update for Android still has me going towards the Pixel. The way I feel about it isn't the way everyone else feels about it. And I totally get that. And I totally respect that. People could be watching this and they might be thinking to themselves, you're crazy for letting emoji bother you that way, or Samsung's UI to bother you that way. But it does. I don't like that setup. It's just not for me. But this is also why competition is good. It is a little nerve-wracking for me to think that I'm paying $600 for a Snap 765G with a lower display refresh rate over something like the Galaxy S20 Fan Edition. I think that's how much I enjoy the stock experience of Android, the software updates of Android, or at least stock Android. If you had to own one phone tomorrow, and I gave you $600, and the only options you had to buy for a phone was the Pixel 5 for $600 or the Galaxy S20 Fan Edition for $600, which phone would you buy? Simple question. You would have to own that phone for the next 3 years. Well, yeah, you know what? I guess even in that respect, I can't even talk about software support or updates because Samsung is now offering 3 years of updates for their phones. So the software support is going to be the same, exactly the same. Yes, Android 12, 13, 14 will probably get the update quicker, but you can expect it sooner or later with a Samsung.